obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We would like to welcome everyone today to our regular midweek virtual program. Today, we have a very special guest speaker in His Grace Jaykumar Prabhu. Prabhu will be covering the topic, The Lord Blesses Sudama Brahmachari. So before we get into the class, I'll just do a brief introduction of Jaykumar Prabhu for those who may not be familiar with him. He has spoken various times on this platform, but I'll just go ahead and give a brief introduction. So Jaykumar Prabhu joined ISKCON in the year 2007. His aspiring guru is His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Or Jaykumar Prabhu has many Shiksha gurus around the world, mainly His Grace Jagannath Priya Prabhu and Adigarara Prabhu and Amarendra Prabhu. And Prabhu has been teaching Bhagavatam teachers training in the Veda Varsity and pursuing a Bhakti Shastri course as well. In his material education, he's a computer engineer. He has a 6 Sigma black belt and a cloud certified professional. Prabhu has served in various ISKCON congregations by actively participating in Bhakti Vrikshas, Janmashtami celebrations, Ram Katha management, and other festival celebrations. Presently, Prabhu serves as the Bhakti Vriksha leader in Alpharetta, coming. He does a daily chanting of in Brahma Murta and daily reads Srimad Bhagavatam, 30 minutes, and weekly gives a Bhagavad Gita discussion. And once a month on Sunday, he does a Nectar of Instruction class as well. Every year, he distributes 500 Bhagavad Gitas in villages in India, and he currently lives in Alpharetta. He's married to Jayashree Mataji for the past 25 years and has a daughter, Malika. We are very happy and excited to have His Grace Jaykumar Prabhu with us today. Prabhu is a very sweet speaker. It's very pleasing to hear from him. He also sings and chants very beautifully, for those who have heard him before know. So with any further ado, we'd like to welcome His Grace Jaykumar Prabhu. Prabhu, welcome, and when you are ready, you may please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear Naveen Prabhu. Thank you, dear devotees, for allowing me to speak on this platform. I'm very grateful to ISKCON of Atlanta, the Vedasar Prabhu, the president of ISKCON Atlanta Temple, His Grace Adigadadhar Prabhu, the congregation director of ISKCON of Atlanta. I would like to thank all the devotees assembled here today. So today we'll be speaking on a very beautiful topic of Lord Krishna and Sudama. This story comes from Srimad Bhagavatam, and hence we need to recite the prayers before we read Srimad Bhagavatam. So let's begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langete girim yat kripatam aham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye Shrumatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hriday ante sito hai abhadrani vidunoti shutha satam नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमाश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी वासुदेव परा वेदा वासुदेव परामकः वासुदेव परा योगा वासुदेव परक्रियः वासुदेव परं ज्ञानं वासुदेव परं तपः वासुदेव परो धर्मो वासुदेव परा गतिः कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंद गोप कुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः नमः पंकजनाभाय नमः पंकजमालिने नमः पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रये Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all the devotees once again. Thank you very much for your association. So today we are talking about the pastime of Lord Sudama. This comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 80 and 81. Very, very beautiful chapters, and we'll go through this today. So Sudama Brahman was lived in a place called Porbandar in Gujarat. And he was an old classmate of Lord Krishna in the Gurukul of Sandipani Muni in Ujjain. So Sandipani Muni had a Gurukul in Ujjain, and Sudama went to study there. And Krishna also came to study there from Mathura. Right? Krishna went from Mathura, and Sudama came from Porbandar. So they were like classmates. After leaving the Gurukul, Sudama settled in Porbandar, and he was living in, from external point of view, a very poverty-stricken life. From external point of view, so much so that he did not have, a proper clothing. His clothes was like said to be torn, very, very old, and even his wife did not have proper clothing. So he was actually, lived on whatever came to him, on his own accord. He won't go and acquire like, material things. Just somebody somebody gave something, he'll be fine. Brahman Swadharma is, one of the Swadharma is to accept charity. They can go and beg, like, you can ask for charity. Kshatriya cannot. Kshatriya cannot do that. Only Brahman can do. So he could go and ask, to some Kshatriya, and they will give, like, villages, cows, and some material thing. Whatever he want, Kshatriya can give. But he will only accept whatever came, from on his own accord, not begging. So much so that his wife had a very hard time to find food and daily needs, and it was so much, that whatever she get little, she would feed him. I mean, the wife will feed Sudama, and she would actually suffer in hunger. So Sukdev Goswami says he's actually suffered in a hunger. So much so that, there was so much suffering in Sudama's life. So one day she came to Sudama, and she told him, that she was a little fearful at that time, because whether her thought will be accepted by Sudama or not, she was thinking in her mind. And because she knew that Sudama is a very Krishna conscious person. If I ask him to go and beg for something, he won't do it, right? So, but she still goes to him, and she says that, you have your old friend Krishna, isn't it? Who is a goddess of, who is a husband of goddess of fortune. Goddess of fortune is like wealth, deity of wealth, and he's the husband. So, and he's your old friend, and he's very compassionate towards Brahmana, right? We know that Namo Brahmana Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishna Govindaya Namo Nama. So he actually takes care of Brahmana, cows and everybody. And in fact, I heard that he is not even, going out of Dwarka. He's settled there. He's not going out. He's sitting and enjoying with his family. So definitely, if you go and beg something, we'll get some shelter. some material will get. So why don't you go and approach him? He says, please go. Sudama's wife is telling, and he will give something for the livelihood. We don't need great, palace and all. We don't need all that. At least day-to-day necessities can be taken care of. At least that much you can ask. So she was requesting. Sudama was okay, but she kept on insisting, saying that, can you please go and beg? He said no. Why should I do? But after repeated request from his wife, he thought that, wait a minute, he's my friend, and it will give me an opportunity to meet him. So not for begging. Sudama got ready, not for begging from Krishna. He got ready that he will have a fortune to meet Krishna in person, because they have separated from after Gurukul, and they have never met in between. So he thought it will be a great, suppose if you come to know our school friend is living in the same city or same place, you would like to meet him after so many years. I remember I met one of my friends after 25 years. He lived in Chicago, I am in Atlanta. Then I came to US, we were able to meet. So it was a great meeting. We were able to discuss so much pastime of our, childhood. So we used to discuss that. The same thing with Sudama. Oh, if I go, I'll meet Krishna. And that will be the great thing to do. Nothing else is required, So, so he thought, okay, let me take this opportunity to be with Krishna and associate with him. It's a good idea. So Sudama accepted his wife's proposal. Okay, I'll go. But he said, do you have some kind of gift to carry? Now, they don't even have anything to eat or to think of gift. But this is a very etiquette, right? That if you will go and meet somebody or some important person, we carry some gift, whatever is, within our own capacity. So in Sudama's house, there is even nothing to eat. So there is no question of even getting some gift. But still, Sudama's wife, she went to neighborhood and begged some flat rice. It's mentioned that she begged four handful of flat rice, which is, we call it as poha, right? So she begged, and she even didn't have proper thing to package it. So she packaged in a very torn cloth, some little dirty and torn clothes. She just tied in that. No good cloth, nothing was available, because the gift is not great. The packaging is also not good. We can see this, right? So sometimes, the contents, whatever it may be, but the wrapper, the packaging is to be good, right? So that's sometimes different. But here, packaging is also not good. But because packaging is from external point of view, it's very important, right? If somebody give a gift, but if packaging is not good, some may not like it. So here the packaging is, the content was dry flat rice, and packaging was torn cloth. So we can imagine what kind of thing he was carrying, So he said, okay, fine, something. I will take this from there. And he started for Dwarka. So Dwarka, as we see, is in Gujarat, and distance between them is about 100 kilometers. It's about, 60, 70 miles approximately. That's the distance. So he started, walking, journey. So obviously only that much gift was there. So obviously we don't expect him to take any journey prasad, right? When we start to go somewhere, even devotees traveling from home to temple and back, we always carry something with us. So we can eat. If children want something, they can eat. But he did not even have something to eat himself. So he just started walking, So he started walking, and he wanted to give this flat price to Krishna, so he cannot eat, obviously. He has to carry. But he was all the way thinking about the good fortune of going to meet his old friend. He was always thinking about this. So that was, he was always absorbed in Krishna, always thinking about Krishna throughout the journey. So in this way, Sudama reached Dwarka. Yeah, and Sudama just started walking inside the palaces. Nobody stopped him. He passed 3 guard stations, 3 gateways, and finally he saw some opulent place. So when he saw the opulent place, he found that, it's quoted by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that it's actually Rukmini's place. It's mentioned that, and when he came, it is Rukmini's place. So here, what happened? Like Krishna is seeing Sudama, and he's walking from the bed of sitting with Rukmini, and he goes to embrace him. It's such a beautiful thing. What a beautiful scene to see. So here, actually, when Krishna got up from the bed and he embraced Sudama, he immediately, because he is seeing him after when they were young, they were children, and they were in Gurukul, and now they have grown up. Number of paths, and Krishna could recognize. Why? Because Paramatma is sitting within the heart. So Krishna could know this is Sudama. He knew that Sudama is coming, and he knows that what is happening. So immediately got up, he ran to him, and then and Sudama was not very well dressed, as we can see. He was not well dressed, but still he went and he immediately embraced him. Because his clothes were not like a royal order. Because Dwarka is like great place. It's a very opulent place. Everything is golden. There's some rubies, and the pillars are ruby covered, emerald covered, and it was so beautiful. And the Sudama looked like very poor, and because the starvation, his body was very emaciated, and he was not fit for the royal order, and also he walked like 100 kilometers. He was very tired, but Krishna went and embraced him, So he's mentioned that he felt ecstasy and he started shedding tears. Krishna is crying. Just imagine, Krishna is crying by meeting Sudama, And then he took Sudama into the palace. So in Vishwanath, in this, it's mentioned Vishwanath Chakravarti, he actually go to the Rukmini's palace. That's what is quoted from the Padma Puran. So he took Sudama inside his palace, and he made him sit on the bed of Rukmini, and he was like, washing his feet. Now, why Krishna was doing this? Wash his feet, sprinkle water on his head. Why he is doing this? Because it is mentioned that it is a swadharma of Kshatriya to take care of the Brahmana. So he is showing by action. Krishna here is showing by action. As we know, yad yad achariti shrestha tat tat eve taro janaha. So whatever the great personality does, the great man does, a common man follow. To set that example, Krishna does this. So if somebody wants to follow Krishna, then we should follow this. Not dancing in Vrindavan and all that. That is not something. This is etiquette. That is what should be followed. So he actually does this and sprinkles water on his head. It's such an amazing scene that one can see. So when Krishna is doing, Sudama would not have minded if Krishna did not wash his feet and sprinkle water. He would not have minded at all completely. Because Sudama was not expecting this kind of welcome for him. He was not at all expecting, right? I'm a Brahmana, he's Kshatriya, so he should do this. No, he had no expectation at all from Krishna like this, So, but Krishna was following the etiquette to teach all of us that how we should behave with a friend, how we should behave with a Brahmana, how we should behave with a devotee. That's the example Krishna is setting. And we can imagine, Rukmini is fanning him. The goddess of fortune is fanning Sudama. So he was putting water from his feet onto his head, and all the residents of the palace were wondering, who is this poor guy? They did not know who is this person is, right? Very poor looking, his veins were visible because there is no flesh. So obviously all the veins were visible in his body. He has got torn cloth. I mean, what great fortune he has got, what he has done in his past life that he is getting such treatment from Lord himself. They were astonished to see Krishna taking care of a person like him. If a royal order person comes and Krishna think people can understand, oh, he's a king of this place and that's why he's. But this, I mean, Sudama had nothing, no opulence on his body. Nobody can see he's great, and he's getting treatment like a VVIP. In our temple also, when we have some special program, we have VVIP. Like if somebody comes, mayor of the city, and then Vesato will bring him. He's like in front of everybody, and everybody has gives way because it's a VVIP, and that's the treatment he's getting. But imagine Mr. Prabhu brings some homeless person and say, okay, he's the person he's going to do Maharani. Who is this person? so the people in the palace were astonished to see this. And they were started thinking, what's going on? They have no idea what's happening. So the Krishna offered prayer, offered arati, all the things. And what they did, they started talking about the old memories, very beautiful memories. So they started, it was very nice, in Sandipani ashram, we used to do this, you remember this thing, you remember that, we did that, you remember this one, oh yeah, it was so beautiful. They started like old friends and they started talking and they were so much engrossed in the discussion, saying that, wow, this is what is happening, and then asking him, oh, did you get married, after living Sadivan? Did you get a good wife? Like that, he's asking, did you get a good wife? And are you settled down? I hope everything is fine. I know that you are not attached to sense gratification. Why he knows? Because Paramatma within the heart. So Krishna knows that he was not interested in accumulating wealth, not interested in any sense gratification and all. He was not at all interested. Sudam had no such inclination. So Krishna knows all these things. So in this way, they were discussing, and Krishna was recollecting the past time, especially when, Sandipani Muni's wife told them to go and bring some firewood from the forest. So, so they had to go to forest and collect the firewood. So in a ashram, Gurukul, what the student will do is that everything else is taken care by the guru. And the Guru Ma, the mother, the wife of the Guru. But the children will do all the menial work, regardless of who is royal order and who is Brahman, nothing. Everybody is equal. Everybody does any menial services, serving the Guru and the Guru Patni. Whatever they tell, they do it. So here, the one task was given to Sudama and Krishna to go and fetch some firewood for cooking. So they went, and there is no discrimination, as I said, nothing between them. So both of them went into the forest and collected firewood. And there was you remember there was rain. There was such a great rain, and it was so heavy rain. It was not, and it's mentioned that it was an unseasonal rain because this came in a winter. In winter there is no rain in India, right? So it became very dark, and they did not expect this rain to happen. So they were like, okay, let's go and fetch it and finish it up. So Sridhar Swami comments on this, saying that that in specific thing here, this particular verse, in verse, he says, Pari Bhabrima, Pari Bhabrima. So there are two words which are used, right? Pari is the prefix used, but Bri and Brahm. So Brahm means what? Is that it indicates that Krishna and Sudama wandered, Brahmanda Brahmite. So it's like wandering in a place, that is Brahm. And the bra means to carry, means they carried, whatever firewood that they had collected. So he says that, Sudama and Krishna, they brahmite, they move within the forest by keeping those firewood with them. As you can see in the picture, they carried the firewood regardless of the rain falling and all that. Now, this is a very good quality that we can learn from this. Why they carried the firewood, right? Because Guru, or the Guru Patni had asked them to carry that. That means they were doing the duty. They were duty bound to fulfill the desire of the Guru and his wife. So what happens, even if there is some danger, you could just leave, the firewood and say, oh, there was rain and we were like too much, so we just left it. Nobody would have questioned that. Nobody, right? But they continue to serve them. And they did not want to go without the firewood, right? Because otherwise you will fail in your duty, right? So you could easily get away with that in such a situation. Nobody will say, oh, no, you could have brought it now. I mean, what's big deal? But no, they did not. they kept the fire with them despite so much danger. They held each other's hand, and the whole night they were staying in some place because they couldn't find out whether it is a road or there is a hill or there is a water pond. They couldn't figure out. It was heavy raining because and it become very dark. So this way they wandered whole night, and in the forest. So there is even a temple in Ujjain, about 30 kilometers from there, where this particular temple is there, where we can see that Krishna Sudama temple, and there are no fine roads and all that, but that's available there. Now, in the morning, excuse me, in the morning, Sandipani Muni said, "Oh, where are those children? Where is Krishna Sudama? They went and they have not returned, because it's a responsibility of a guru that if somebody has, sent your children, then you must take care. So he has to take care." So he was very concerned that what happened to them. So he thought that, okay, what happened? Let me go and figure it out. So he set out to search for them, and he was very happy to find them safe, and he was very pleased that they did not give up their service. So he blessed both of them that whatever you will learn, you will never forget in your life. So when we fulfill the desire of our guru, the guru will bless us. For example, during the Prabhupada's time, the devotees who came in contact with him would do anything and everything for Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, just do this, and they will just drop everything and do that. That was their consciousness. We also can learn from these examples and the example of our Guru Parampara, that how the current Maharaj who are there, who served Prabhupada in such an amazing way. We could learn a lot from this. And we can also do this kind of service to our Guru. Whoever is our Guru, we can do this service to him. It's a very pleasing, because there is no difference between Guru and Krishna. Guru is a representative of Krishna and as good as Krishna. So we should serve Guru with all our affection and all our love, like we are serving Krishna. So, so this is what happened, and it's so after that, Sudama and Krishna were recollecting all these pastimes, and Krishna was very happy. Sudama was very pleased with this discussion. Sudama knew that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not ignorant. He's fully Krishna conscious. So he's not ignorant. But he says that simply for pastime, you played the role of a student in human form in Gurukul. Krishna doesn't have to go to Gurukul. He's a learner of all the Vedas. He has nothing to do. But still he goes there. Why? Again, yad archati shrestha, to teach that everybody should get educated. Everybody should get the Vedic knowledge. So to teach this, Krishna does this Leela. So this way, Sudama and Krishna were recollecting the various pastimes. So Krishna very well knew that though the discussion was going on, Krishna knew in his back of mind. Krishna knew all this, why Sudama has come. But Sudama did not ask anything or say anything to him. So Sridhar Swami says that Sudama brought the flat rice, right? But he was feeling ashamed that, oh, how can I give this flat rice? Because he has seen the opulence of Dwarka, amazing place, and the way he was welcomed, the way he was treated, he was feeling ashamed. How can I give this, poha to Krishna, this flat rice to Krishna? He was not very comfortable. After seeing this emerald coated the pillars and golden place and amazing interior of the palace, he was feeling very ashamed and he did not want to give, because even packaging was not good, right? It was, as we know, it was packed in a torn cloth, so it was not good. So but Krishna knew that he is feeling ashamed. Krishna knew about it, right? And because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Krishna is saying, I know, what are you bringing here? I will, and he was basically thinking that I'm going to take this precious gift that you brought for me. Krishna, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comment said, Krishna actually wanted to snatch that from Sudama, and he says that Krishna is already calculated in his mind that I'm going to take this gift. Krishna has already done this calculation. Though he's not giving, I'm going to take this from Sudama. So Krishna asked, "Hey Sudama, you have come here. Your wife must have given some gift to you, isn't it? For me, what is that? Where is that? Can you give me that? Even if it is insignificant, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Because normally it is expected that when we go to a different place or Vaikuntha or some place, because Dwarka is it is much better than Vaikuntha, but still. Krishna says, you don't have to worry about that you have to bring some opulent gift for me. Nothing of that. You can bring, and whatever you have, you can give it to me. Right? So in spite of, telling that, Krishna telling Sudama, Sudama is very reluctant. So Krishna speaks the verse. What is that verse? Again, we have seen this verse coming in the Bhagavad Gita also. Right? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahartam asnami prayatatmanaha, means whatever you offer, patram, tulsi leaf, fruits, flower, water, all this is available naturally. No efforts are required. Like if Krishna says, okay, you cook pizza for me, or you cook samosa for me. Now that is sometimes some Mataji may not know, some Prabhu may not know, it's difficult. Krishna is not telling us all this. We don't need any skills to please Krishna. No skills are required. That's why he's repeating. And Krishna is repeating something. Please remember, this verse also comes in Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is repeating. Now sometimes we repeat. I will repeat many words like this. Many times I will repeat because I don't have much knowledge. But Krishna is to emphasize a point. Krishna is repeating this. Krishna is using this verse to emphasize that you can give me whatever, patram pushpam phalam toya. That's it. You can give me leaf, like tulsi leaf, some fruit, some flower, and water. I'll be pleased. Because Krishna is not looking at the content of the gift. He looks at the devotion. It is said that the man looks for action, God looks for intention. So we look for, what did he do? But the God looks at what is his intention behind doing that action. That is what pleases him. So he's repeating this verse to emphasize this particular point. And this word, the bhakti prayachati. So, and bhakti upahartam, meaning is looks like redundant, because both mean offered with devotion. But bhaktya indicate that how Lord reciprocates the devotional mood of whoever offers him something with love. Basically, in this verse, Krishna declares that his reciprocation in pure loving exchange is not dependent on external quality of what is offered. Suppose we may go into a party and of a great billionaire, for example, then we'd like to give something which is at the level of his position. Whether he will like it, he will reciprocate. We are always thinking like that. But here is Krishna is the recipient. He's the Paramatma. He's the owner of this entire universe. And he's telling that just give me the simple things. I will just offer. I will accept that. You don't need great things to please me. So whatever is available naturally, I will take that. No need of cooking and all that stuff. So this is such a amazing thing. So Krishna is always very much concerned about the devotion. For example, when a father and a child, if the father's birthday is there, the child will make some, a small birthday card. Now that may not be a great artistic presentation, but father will just love it. Oh my God, this is such amazing beauty. Why? Because there is a love of the son or a child behind that. So father loves it. Similarly, Krishna also loves what is in our heart, and he will take that and not look at what we are offering. This doesn't mean we can cook anything and everything. We have to actually try to upgrade our skills as much as possible. But thing is that whatever that we can do with love and devotion, perfectly all right, no problem with that. And Krishna exhibits this in many pastimes, right? We know the pastime comes in Mahabharata where the wife of Vidura, when Krishna did not go to eat the chapan bhog of Duryodhana, and he went to Vidur's home to eat a very simple prasad, right? And in that ecstasy, the Vidurayan, she was offering the peel of banana to Krishna, not even banana, peel of banana to him. But Krishna still accepted with love because there was a love, there was so much ecstasy. She was in so much ecstasy, she forgot what she's offering. She forgot, but Krishna still ate it with so much love, right? Other pastime comes in Ramayana where Shabri, she was eating fruit and then giving it to Lord Ram. And Lakshmana was thinking, oh, what's happening? Why is she eating and giving it to Lord Ram? This is not right. But Lord Ram said, no, don't worry. So he says, because Lakshmana's objection was overruled. And he says, this is very tasty, Lakshmana. You should also try it. You can also take this. So basically, from a normal point of view, someone may say, how can somebody offer something which is tested, to Krishna or Lord Ram? But intention of Shabri was whether it is sweet or not. Am I offering a sweet fruit to Lord Ram or it is not good? She wanted to offer the best of what she had. So that impresses Lord Ram more than the sweetness of the fruit. Lord looks at the sweetness of the devotion, not the taste of the food. So that's what she looks at. So something which is not even appropriate from a Vedic point of view or from a normal point of view, Krishna overrules that. Krishna says, that's okay. Krishna overrules this for devotees, not for everybody, for devotees. Normal general rule can be overruled by Krishna. So there is another story which comes of Andal from South India. Is from Ramanuja Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, where Andal is actually expansion of Bhudevi. And her father was a follower of Lord Narayan, and his duty was to make very nice garland and give it to Lord Narayan every day. That is his duty. So he'll make nice garland and then he will take it to Lord Narayan and offer it. One day, he was taking the garland and he found a hair, long hair. So when he found a long hair, he said, from where this long, he did not have a long hair. So he was wondering from where this long hair came. So he removed and offered it that day. But next he wanted to inquire what is happening. So he made the garland and then he kept it in the basket to be carried. And he was watching what's happening. So he saw that her daughter, Andal, was actually trying on herself, looking in the mirror, how it looks and all that, and then putting it back. And he was getting angry. He says, hey, what are you doing? This is to be offered to Lord. You cannot wear it like this. And he did not take that. And he said, okay, we have to make fresh one. So they made the fresh ones. The fresh garland was made and taken. When they were trying to give it to the Lord, it was falling down. They tried all the possible things to tie knots and all those things, but it just kept on falling. And they were wondering what's happening, why this garland is not accepted by Lord Narayan. Then Lord Narayan came and told them that I need only that garland because she is actually wearing and seeing how it will look good on me or not. She is doing with devotion. So that is more opulent than what you're offering without such things. So please give me that. So she whether it is looking all right, today dressing is this, the color is good, all this she used to. And her hair strand was found on that one day. But as we can see, Krishna accepts the devotion. Krishna doesn't look at anything else in the devotee, And when Krishna is satisfied, the entire world gets satisfied, right? So, when this happens, Krishna opened that gift that was given to him, that Sudama brought. It was in a torn cloth. It was nothing, no comparison from the royal order, but still he took it. And he took one handful of rice, flat rice, and put it in his mouth. He ate it, And he said, oh, this is so good. This is so good. This is so opulent. I have not eaten this kind of things in my entire life. It's so beautiful, you know. So as we know, when Krishna is satisfied, every entire world is satisfied, right? Yasmin tushte jagat tushtam, right? We know there is a story which comes in Mahabharata also, when Krishna took when um, the Muni came there, at Pandavas, and they were saying, "I want to eat some prasad," and Durvasa Muni came and they wanted to eat prasad, and he said, "Okay." Now Draupadi had Akshay Patra, but everything was taken, and once she eats, nothing can be produced in that. Krishna comes to the rescue. He comes there, and he says there is one small grain left. He just takes it in his, like 10,000 of them were gone. Durvasa Muni had come 10,000 disciples. And when Krishna is satisfied, whole world gets satisfied. So that's what happens here. So Krishna immediately took, and while Krishna was trying to take another, Rukmani held his hand. He says, "No, no, you don't take it, you know, because one is sufficient. One handful is sufficient for you." So, and it's also commented that by Acharya that there's no need for another handful, because if you do that, I will have to go and serve him at his home, and because I'm a goddess of fortune. If you give all this, I have to go and serve him. So don't do it. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that uh, that if you take this, what happens is that it's very hard on your stomach. She's telling all the Rukmani was telling others, "Oh, this is very hard for my husband, for Krishna, and he might. So let's not have him eat more. One handful is enough." So he takes. So Prabhupada also comments that when the Supreme Lord is pleased by devotee, the goddess of fortune personally goes to the home of devotee and resides there. That means all the opulences manifest in the devotee's life. So this is something which is there. So like this, Sudama spent the whole one night in the palace of Krishna. He sleeps. Next day he sets out. In the morning he says, "Okay, now I'll go back. I'm happy," and he wants to go. So he's ready to leave, right? And so he's planning to go now, and he did not ask anything, and Krishna did not give anything, right? Because they were just exchanging what happened in Sandipani Muni Ashram and all those things. So nothing was exchanged. So from external point of view, we can think that nothing was given to each other. Nothing was given by Krishna to Sudama, but they were just talking like a friend. But probably nobody could really figure out what happened between them. Nobody could figure it out. So Krishna came out to give a farewell. This is another good quality that we should learn. That when somebody comes to see us and when he is leaving, we should go and see them off till they leave. We should stay there, and we should say goodbye, Hare Bol, like that. All those things we can do. So this is another quality Krishna is saying. Again, yad acharti shrestha, right? So we should learn from this kind of qualities. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments on this, verse. He's saying that Krishna came to some distance along with Sudama. He came out of the palace, walked with him for some time, and then bowing down to him, he spoke, for some time, and some nice word. "Okay, I'll see you again. Please come," like that. And Sudama started going back to Porbandar. So Sudama, while walking, he was, "What will I say to my wife? You go and bring some wealth," but he did not think and about the answer. He says, why he did not think? He was always absorbed in Krishna. He says, "What a beautiful fortune I had. In Krishna's heart is the goddess of fortune, and he embraced me with that heart. I am so fortunate." He was thinking of those things and not that, what will I tell my wife? He was not thinking. He was always absorbed in the time that he spent with Krishna, fully devoted, fully thinking about this. And that's how he reached Dwarka. Reached Porbandar. So when he reached Porbandar, he was like astonished to see oh, everything has become, his hut was not there, and it converted into a beautiful palace with birds chirping, and the pond, and the servants and everybody. It was so opulent. It is mentioned that it is even opulent than the Indra's palace. It was such a beautiful thing. So he thought, oh, maybe I have come to the wrong address. This is not the place. I have I forgot my address. Like that he was thinking. But they say, no, no, you're at your place. This is, because he's so beautiful, man, woman, children playing, and he was very, very confused, and very effulgent looking people were there, like goddesses. They were all looking there. He was really getting bewildered. What's going on there? So servant informed Sudama's wife that Sudama has come, So she came to receive it, and she paid obeisance in her mind only because they were out, and she was looking brilliant, brilliant, wearing wonderful dress and jewels and all that. And what he thought, how, from which planet she has come, some goddess is coming from heavenly planet or something like that. He was thinking like that. And then somebody said, no, no, this is your wife only. She's your wife, He couldn't believe it's my wife, He didn't see before like that. So after that, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, when the servants reminded him that he's your wife, then he thought, oh, he's my wife. And then Sudama also transformed. Like he was gone, when he was gone, he was still poor. He was shabbily dressed. His veins were visible. His body was, very, very thin. But he also got transformed and got a very beautiful body and beautiful dress on himself. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments on this verse on that. So he also become like demigod, very brilliant and effulgent. So immediately he could understand this is all possible because just by glance of Krishna, just one glance of Krishna, Krishna did not give anything externally from the point of view, but he just glanced and things have happened. So, so all kind of fortunes, is possible only by just glance of Krishna. So, like, we taking darshan of Krishna is one thing, and Krishna giving darshan to us or giving glance to us is a very different thing. When two people meet, like it's very different thing, very, very different, right? So here we have to understand that Krishna, just by glancing, he can give anything and everything to devotee. He doesn't have to take any action, right? So because Krishna tells, in Bhagavad Gita, he says, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. Means, he says, whatever you have, I'll protect it, and whatever you're lacking, I will give you that. That's the assurance Krishna gives. So just by glancing at Sudama, he was able to give this, So there is no way this can happen because he's a devotee. He knows that, right? The devotee knows that this cannot happen just like that. If you get if devotee is blessed, devotee always first praise it, Krishna, this is because of your mercy, nothing else. This is always the thought of a devotee. Devotee never thinks, oh, it is because of my knowledge, my talent, my ability, this has happened. No. Devotee always thinks this is the mercy of Krishna. And that is the attitude we should always develop as a devotee in our heart, right? Like many times, if in other way, like if you go to demigod, then it's a very different thing. In case of demigod, what happened? The person will first develop a list that I want this, and then go and pray. And when the demigod comes, okay, give me this. And then there is a negotiation. No, I can't give you this. Okay, whatever you give me, I'll take it. Like Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, they had a list. And they were pleasing Lord, Brahma and Lord Shiva. And whatever Lord Brahma could give, he said, okay, I'll take this. Because Hiranyakashipu wanted to be immortal. I want to be immortal. He says, I cannot give you this. And he said, okay, give me this. The Lord Brahma said, okay, tathastu, like that. So, but in case of, in case of Krishna, no such list is required. Krishna knows what's in our heart. Krishna knows what. Here in this case, Sudama did not had a list. The list was his wife had a list. Sudama did not have a list that I want this and that. And again, they don't have a list of saying, give me so much opulence. No, they had like basic thing. But Krishna gave more than what they were even thinking in their heart. This is Krishna. This is the huge difference between Krishna and demigod. So we should always please and pray to Krishna for anything that we need in life. In fact, in devotee life, we don't expect anything. We expect whatever comes, that's okay. We just accept that and move on. So Krishna, Krishna says, since you give me such a devotion, I can give you myself. I can give myself to you. But it's okay. I can give you Vaikuntha. I can give you anything. Nothing can be equal to myself. I can give you even that. But I know only if you use this in the service of me, then I will give you that. Even he will give wealth unequal to, unparalleled to Lord Indra, Lord Brahma. They cannot even imagine how much a devotee can get if Krishna gets pleased. So so Sudama did not have any list, but he still got this wealth. So Sudama is a pure person. He knows that Krishna knows that he will not misuse it. Like, if you give it this kind of wealth to demon, Krishna knows it will be misused. Right? Devotee will not misuse. So devotee, quote unquote, devotees are always will never misuse anything. So that's why Krishna gets pleased. And after receiving such opulence, better than heavenly opulence, Sudama was always remembering Krishna. He did not forget. So similarly, when we also get some favor from Krishna, then we should also never forget Krishna. We should always remember Krishna. This is one of the very important things that we should do. And he was in opulence. He was living with it, but his consciousness was how great Krishna is. He was always thinking like that. He did it for me. I have never asked him, but he gave me so much. He was always thankful to Krishna, always in that. So he's remained full time like Krishna conscious. So here, Sukdev Goswami says by reminding him that Krishna consciousness is not some material attachment in heart. If everything is, there is no attachment for material thing, then only we can attain the supreme abode of the Lord. We cannot achieve otherwise. It's not possible. So Srila Jiva Goswami comments on this particular verse. He says, Sudama was a great devotee. And he was very renounced person, very renounced, right? But he had a very subtle pride of being that, oh, I'm a renounced Brahman. That even renunciation is also considered to be an opulence, right? As we know, in Vishnu Purana is mentioned, Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasha yashasha shriya gnana vairagya yosha chaiva sharanam bhaga itingara. Means there are 6 opulence that Krishna has, and one of them is renounce. So even renunciation is considered to be an opulence. So sometime if somebody is very renounced, and they can think, oh, nobody is more renounced than me. So here Jiva Goswami comments that Sudama, externally, he could be found that he had a little slight trace, but even that slight trace of little pride was taken away by Krishna conscious activities. So when his heart was completely absorbed in Krishna, even that little pride, subtle pride that he had, that went away. So when the heart is completely clean, when all this material thing, attachment goes away, then only we can go back to Godhead. The devotee, even this kind of little pride can stop a devotee going back to Godhead. So we have to be very careful in what we think about, right? There is a beautiful verse from Shiksha Ashtakam. Trinadapi sunichena tarodapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. So here it is very, very, very clearly mentioned that even possessing something to become humble, so if you have something and if you don't have anything, then we can become humble. No, No question. I have nothing, so I become like, if you see a homeless one, he's always like, hand for, please give me something. I'm fine. Give me that, like that. But if somebody is a billionaire, can he behave like that? No, he'll not become humble. So if you don't possess anything, it's very easy to become humble. But when we possess something, becoming humble is a big challenge. It becomes a big impediment to become humble. But as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, we have to be humble, than blade of grass. We have to be tolerant than a tree. When we live life like that, when we become like that, then Krishna will open his abode for all of us. And these devotees who exhibit these qualities are actually qualified to go back to Godhead and enter Krishna's pastime. So like this, Sudama went back to Lord's abode and to enter in his pastime. And this is a beautiful pastime of Lord Krishna. So Sukdev Goswami says that whoever hears, these particular pastime of Krishna will develop the lot of love in the heart and become free from the bondage of material opulences. So we should all pray to Sudama and Krishna that we also develop the love like Sudama. We also develop um, renunciation like Sudama, though we live in material life, and we can go back to Godhead. So this is something that we can learn from these pastimes. It is a very beautiful. The entire detail verses can be seen from in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 80, 81. Very beautifully narrated. You all can read that. I just try to cover some of the high-level points in the discussion. So I will stop here and see if there's any question or comment. And whatever I have presented, whatever I have spoken here, these are not my words. These are not my things. I have just gathered something from various lectures that I hear, various pictures which are available, and follow the flow of Srimad Bhagavatam, where this pastime is narrated. So if there's any mistake, I beg forgiveness and stand corrected. But I again thank all the devotees who assembled here for their association and blessing me to speak a little bit today on this beautiful pastime of Sudama. Vancha kalpatarupyasya kripa sindhuvadevacha patitanam apavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anant Kori Vaishnavinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. If there is any correction, comment, or maybe there are one or two questions, we can take that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the wonderful, amazing class. And yes, as you mentioned, devotees, if there are any questions or comments or reflections, if anyone would like to say something, you can go ahead and raise your hand and we can give you an opportunity to speak. Yes, I see one hand raised already. Geeta Mataji, please, when you're ready, you may go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances authorized to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for the nice lecture. I was wondering, did Sudama know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you for attending the class today. I'm very thankful for your association. So what I have heard in some of the classes from the ISKCON devotees is that Sudama knew that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's what I've heard, and that's what I've just repeated those words, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. I was wondering because when he reached his home on the way back, you mentioned that he was confused. So I was wondering, so if he knew Krishna is the Supreme Lord, then he probably would have known, okay, this is what Krishna has done, right?
Yes, so he definitely first when he reached his home and it was transformed into a very beautiful place, he definitely thought what's going on. He was not sure because he did not ask, first of all. He did not ask Krishna that give me this. But Krishna just plans and offered him. Then he realized that this must be Krishna's mercy. That's how I got it. Though I did not ask for it, he just heard what's in my wife's heart and what I came for. I did not ask, but he gave. So that's why he realizing, hey, it must be Krishna. So that is how it is to be understood, Mataji. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the wonderful question, and Prabhu for the lovely answer. We have one more hand that is raised, Prabhu. Two hands actually. Shubham, when you are ready, you may go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful class today. I just had one question. It's kind of a long one, so I apologize. But you were talking about how Sudama Brahmana really had that quality of not asking Krishna for anything, for not even asking what his wife wanted him to ask for. So again, someone like me has a lot of desires and wants, and I feel like I'm not at that level of not asking Krishna for things. So is it okay to ask Krishna for things, but having the aim in mind of trying to use those things in his service ultimately? And the reason I ask that is because I heard in another class that Krishna already knows what our desires are. So maybe he likes to hear them directly rather than us hiding or pretending that we don't have those desires. So do you have any thoughts on that, Prabhuji? Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Yes, so it is, until we become pure, we will still have desire. Like as long as we think that whatever comes in way, and if I'm going to use that in Krishna's service, then that is fine. But we have to understand that there is a very thin line between this. Once we get the opulence, our mind starts thinking, gets bewildered. And it's very difficult, to keep it on track, saying, oh, I'm going to use it for Krishna's service. This is a difficult process. But we can always pray to Guru and Krishna, think that I want to do this. And also, we have to remember, as Rupa Goswami says, that we should anya abhilashita shunyam. We don't have any desire. We have to reach to that state. But it's a journey. We will not be able to go there tomorrow. But yes, we can pray to Krishna. Krishna, I'm getting desire. But eventually, I want to reach to the stage where I have no desire, for any material enjoyment, for sense gratification. My only desire is to serve you. My only desire is to serve your devotees. When we can keep praying, and slowly we will see that despite living a materially successful life, we are still detached. There are so many devotees which I have seen who are like multi-millionaire. They have a lot of money, but they are very humble, not attached to their possessions and all that. But as we know, Krishna knows that if this devotee is going to use this thing, opulences in my service, he will give that. But yes, we can ask if something we need it. Krishna even knows in our heart. Krishna, because it's there in our heart as a Brahmana, he knows it. But it's okay to ask now, but eventually we should ask, saying that I want to reach to a stage where I will not have any desire for these any material things. That's how I understand, Mataji. I hope that helps. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Shubham Mataji, for that wonderful question, and Prabhu for that beautiful explanation. We have one more hand that is raised, Prabhu. Rishi, Prabhu, if you are ready, you may go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Jaykumar Prabhu. Very wonderful class. A lot of things we learned. A lot of inspirations and reflections. We were pretty much, I could imagine, I could visualize all the pastimes that you shared. So thank you very much. I'm just curious, Prabhu. Sudama's good fortune among so many friends Krishna had. We, after many centuries, hear about Sudama and Krishna's pastime. This must have been some good fortune Sudama had. I'm just eager to know, curious to know about, among other friends. Sudama is kind of some one of his friends that we still hear about.
Yeah, so yes, Krishna had many different friends. Like he had friends in Vrindavan, you know, where he will do pastime with them. So that's a different friendship that he had. In Sudama, we see again Krishna is teaching us that if we are renounced, if we are only keeping our mind absorbed in Krishna, then we can achieve him. Basically, different ways to achieve Krishna is being shown there. So one of them is that remaining detached, absorbed in Krishna, thought of Krishna, not aspiring for any material benefits, not aspiring for sense gratification, can also give us a lot of wealth, and at the same time, we can still go back to Godhead. So that is what I think I will comment here, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Jaykumar Prabhu, and thank you, Rishi Prabhu, for that interesting question. Yes, so Prabhu, I don't see any more hands raised, so I think we can go ahead and conclude here the Q&A section. So we'd just like to thank you, Jaykumar Prabhu, once again for being with us, giving us your association, and blessing us with such a divine class. It was a beautiful presentation, Prabhu, visually and verbally, and everything was very eloquently put together, and it was very pleasing to hear. So thank you so much. We look forward to hearing from you again very soon. And yes, thank you so much, Prabhu. Please take care. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jai. So dear devotees, we will conclude now. We just have a few announcements before we wrap up the program. So on Sunday, we will have our virtual Sunday program, which will be held by, which will be given, by Her Grace Radhabhav Mataji, and she will be covering the personality of Jayadev Goswami. Next week on the virtual midweek program, we have Sachi Pran Prabhu, who will be covering the personality of Vidura. And just a quick update regarding the temple. The temple is still currently closed, but they are allowing devotees to come in for restricted darshan. So the darshan is between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. and between 5 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. They allow five people in at a time, and masks are required and temperatures will be checked. So if you are in around the Atlanta area, you are more than welcome to come and get darshan. Regarding programs and in-person festivals, we will be discussing that, and we will be giving an update by the end of this month. We should have a definitive way forward regarding in-person programs. So yes, and just to conclude, we will like to send out some prayers and good wishes to some of the devotees who are facing some health challenges. I'm sure, as everyone knows, His Holiness Jaipataka Maharaj has been moved into hospital for he is facing some serious health conditions right now. His Holiness Lokanath Maharaj as well has been tested positive for COVID. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj has been tested positive for COVID as well. One of our own devotees here in Atlanta, Nanda Sutta Prabhu, has also been moved into hospital, and Her Grace Govardhan Leela Mataji, who is also facing various health difficulties. So we would just like to send some prayers and well wishes to all these devotees, including the doctors fighting the COVID-19 pandemic and those suffering from COVID-19, and to everyone we haven't mentioned. We'll go ahead and chant Hare Krishna 3 times in a prayerful mood to pray for these devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Chai. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining us today. We would like to please wish everyone to stay safe and stay healthy and be cautious and careful. As we all know, this COVID pandemic is still continuing. So we would like to please instruct the devotees to please be very careful and safe when going outside. And please stay up to date with the ISKCON Atlanta activities on our various social media platforms such as Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. And yes, we hope to see you all very soon. We will now conclude the program. Everyone, please take care. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.